And I welcome inside the WB Mason Coach Support right here on GoHofstra.com. Ron LaFay alongside Dennis Papadatos, the head coach of the Hofstra wrestling team. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing good. Feeling a little under the weather, so I'm trying to keep my distance a little bit. But besides that, all right.
And your team, an EIWA match this past week against Sacred Heart University, 38-3 win over the Pioneers. Just take us through that match, starting off the week on a high note.
The best day we've had so far from top to bottom performance. There were some tough matches in that. As I said in the interview after, Vinny Vespa, beat a kid, I think 7-1. I don't remember the final score. He actually shut down a little bit because he got a little nervous. But that kid beat him in the state semifinals when he was a senior in high school. So last time I wrestled him, he lost to him, and that kid, to make the state finals when you're in high school is a big deal. And that's the kid that beat him, so he was really nervous about it. And that kid placed in the EIWA last year. So it was a good win for true freshman Vinny Vespa coming out, and that kid, had some college experience, and Vinny won it. So it was one of the matches I was concerned with, and I was happy with his performance, even though he shut down a little bit at the end. I was happy with how Ryan scored points. I was really happy Jake Kaminsky had a good kid, probably definitely one of their top 3 best kids. And the kid has some good wins and has battled good with good guys. And Jake gave up the first takedown and came back and dominated him. I was happy with Bobby Fair for different reasons because he's been struggling with some things, and he seems to be doing a much better job with it. And I was really happy with Omar Haddad. He scored points, and then he was looking to score more points. He was looking to get the pin. He did a good job being very coachable and working on things he needs to work on. And but from top and bottom, obviously we lost one match. Actually lost to probably their best kid. That kid's pretty good, Antler. I thought he made some mistakes that I really wasn't happy with, but overall we were probably 95% there. If we had that performance, we would have went 3-0. Even though Clarion's a better team than Sacred Heart, but if we had that performance, that confidence, we would have went 3-0 on the weekend. Just the mindset that we had coming into Sacred Heart.
Right, let's talk about the Clarion duels. Let's start with West Liberty, a dominating performance against them, 42-0. Just walk us through that match to kick off that dual meet.
We actually didn't wrestle that wonderful in the dual meet either. To be honest with you, there was a couple frustrations, but not to put them down. They're a Division II team that they're doing the right things, trying to wrestle Division I teams, get better competition. But we should put points on them. We should win matches against them. So we did, and I was a little concerned for the Clarion match after that match. Even though we shut them out, I was watching us. We just looked a little sluggish, looked a little off. I don't know if the trip got to them. That's too bad. It's just the way things go. You know what I mean? That's I don't ever want. That's no excuse. I don't. Like I said, I don't know if the trip got to them. The warm up looked different. Like at Sacred Heart, we looked sharp. We looked sharp in the warm up. This time it was like pulling teeth to do the warm up. And it wasn't like anyone didn't want to do it. Just sometimes. I don't know. I don't know what it was. We looked sluggish. We looked sluggish in that match. So, but anytime you can look sluggish and still, shut out someone that wants to win, that didn't want to give up, especially for that 25-33. There was weights they were battling at 97. They did not want to lose, and we kind of dominated them as we should. And there was some. By no means that the whole weekend I would never say. There was definitely some not great calls in our direction, even in that dual meet. So we battled some things and we pulled that out, and then it set the stage for the last match, which was the Clarion, which I'm sure you're going to get to. Which, for some reason, it's like they view wrestling us like it's their Super Bowl over there at Clarion, and kudos to them. The coaches are doing a great job. I'm actually good friends. Joe D'Angelo was my coach here last year, and he went there because he was a volunteer. Now he's full-time assistant, and their head coach is working, and their assistant coach is a very good friend of mine. We were at UNC together. But they were way more up for the event than our guys were, and I told our guys that they would be, that this is a big deal for them, even though they're not in our conference, and there's no really history of rivalry between Hofstra and Clarion, but they came in swinging, and our guys came in not swinging so much.
And let's get to that match, 28-5 loss to Clarion. Kind of mentioned it there before, sluggish before. Was that really the mainstay and why really Hofstra fell to Clarion?
I don't know. It's definitely a possibility. Like I said, the officiating didn't help, but I think even with better officiating, we would have still lost. They just outgridded us. There's no doubt. I felt like 2 matches were kind of taken away from us. I'm really not happy about it. I would talk about not talking about it, but I'm going to do something about it. I can tell you that to the proper authorities. But besides that, they outgritted us. Coach Patrovich after the meeting, after the loss, talked to the team after I spoke to him, and he said something, and when he said it, I was like, yes. And he said, those guys just wanted it more than you today. And I was like, yes, that's what it was. It wasn't that we tried. No one did not try. No one laid on their bellies and died. No one quit. There wasn't a point that we were discouraged or upset with anyone's effort level, if that makes sense. When you're watching the dual meet, you're not like, wow, this guy doesn't care. It didn't look like that. The other team looked like they cared more, and we were sluggish, and we couldn't get out of our own way. And when push came to shove, we kind of got shoved. You know what I mean? And kudos to them. They wanted a little more, and they took care of business. So I would say, that's kind of what it was. There was a lot of time-telling, tough situations in almost every match, and if there was 100 of them, they won 80 of them. You know what I mean? And that's not good, but when you're a super young team as we are, and as I keep saying, we got 40% of our scholarship money sitting in redshirt. You know what I mean? And that's not making excuses. I'm just saying, like, I sit back and I look back, I'm like, man, it is what it is. We're 40% of our money sitting in redshirt, and a lot of the money that's out there is true freshmen. You know what I mean? And we're just trying to get them baptism by fire. And they put it together against Sacred Heart. Of course, it was, yes, not to put Sacred Heart down, lesser competition, but the energy level, the mindset, the focus, the precision was there, and it wasn't there. And that's what you get when you have freshmen. It's hard for them to be super consistent, and we suffered the consequences of it.
And someone who was consistent this past week, Jake Kaminsky, 3-0. How about his performance in the past week? What can we expect from him going forward?
It's hard to say. He's one of the guys that kind of went up and down, but he's done a really good job with his weight. He's in the beginning of the year he kind of struggled with his weight. His weight was great. His warm-ups were great. And here's what's kind of funny. Like, when you start struggling with your weight and you're losing, all of a sudden your weight gets harder to make. All of a sudden you're kind of having like a grumpy post on your face, and all of a sudden he's winning, and his weight's pretty easy to make right now. He's in a good state of mind. You know what I mean? Like, he's joking on the bus, and obviously he doesn't want his team to lose, but he's in a pretty good place mentally. So our job is to keep him there, because coming up is a much taller task. Army's 57-pounder ranked top 12 in the country, and Columbia has a good 57-pounder as well. So he's got a taller task ahead than the task that he just did. So I'm glad that he's firing closer to his potential now, coming into a harder part of the season for him.
Finally, let's just look ahead. 2 matches coming up on Saturday, as hosting Army and then going to Columbia that night. How does your team prepare for a long day like that, and what can we expect out of both Army and Columbia?
They're both the IWA matches. They both are New York teams. They both want to beat us. You know what I mean? So, being in the IWA, having been in it before, and Army has been much better lately than they have been probably even 10 years ago, 8 years ago. So, and 8 years ago, 10 years ago is when Hofstra was top 10 in the country, which, like I said, that's what we're working on as our goal. That's what we're trying to get back to, fix some things. But Army's turned into a little bit of a rival, where before Hofstra was able to put 5 back and beat up Army, so they never turned into a rival. It's turning into a rival now because we're both conference foe, and they're greatly improved. And same thing with Columbia. So, like I said, it's going to be New York matchups. It's EIWA. It has to mean a lot. It has to mean more than what I don't want to say the Clarion matches mean anything, because it means anything. Listen, it has to mean something, because I was devastated on the bus when we lost. Devastated. I kept looking at the weekend thinking we won 19 out of 20 matches going into Clarion, and Clarion we won 2 out of 10, and as I was like devastated. Like that's the best way I could use to describe it. Obviously we get over it, we work on it, but on the bus I was not happy. So it obviously means something, but these two got to mean a little more, and the guys got to feel that, and they got to get after it, because those two teams definitely are not coming in to play patty cakes. You know what I mean? They're coming in to scrap.
Dennis Papadatos, the head coach of the Hofstra wrestling team. Coach, thanks for the time.
I appreciate having us, man. Thanks for always being tuned in every week.
And thank you for watching the W Mason Coach Report right here on GoHofstra.com.